It's one of the most popular holiday hotspots. Golden coastlines, killer surf and an embracing community. The Coromandel Peninsula, a home away from home for thousands of Kiwis every summer. The COVID-19 pandemic brought two of the toughest years for business owners here. Those who survived tested further by back-to-back cyclones. And then, just as things were looking up, the main highway in and out destroyed.
May take up to a year to reopen.
A monster deluge has flooded roads.
Around about 130 metres of the road simply slipped down into the gully.
The very first time, shortly after the slip happened, I went up to the site and we were stood on the edge of the drop-off down into the hole. The next time I went up, the place that we'd been standing was gone. So it really brought it home, the scale of the damage and the scale of what the fix was going to need to be to get it back on track.
25A's closure effectively cut off the communities along the peninsula. Both alternative routes, one being the coastal road and the other through the Karangahaki Gorge, significantly longer.
People were isolated in a way that had not happened for a while, and the length of time that disconnection happened was a shock. So our emergency management teams are very, very good at dealing with slips, dealing with roading closures and interruptions and getting them open again very quickly. This one was different. This one took out that State Highway 25A for a period of what was looking like months and was initially projected possibly over a year.
The financial impacts were felt almost instantly. Visitor spending plummeted, with electronic card spending down by $60 million in the first half of the year. Total regional spending was down by 25% between January and June, usually the busiest time for the region.
February was a nightmare. So February is what we call our German month. Like, we have a very big international market that comes to the Coromandel, and for whatever reason, whether it's the coldest month in Europe, February every second person is from Europe, or from Germany, and there was no one. I mean, it just went dead. So, and then March and April we started to sort of see people come up through Waihi, Whangamata, and the tourists did start to come back in. But there was a really big dip there for a while, and there were some cafes and other places that just did not make it across the line.
We went 6 weekends without having one single person check in, a Friday, a Saturday or a Sunday, and then the next 3 weekends it was just one person each weekend. That's like, that's when we decided, what are we doing this for? It's hard to sit up there in the office and look down at an empty car park day after day after day.
The plan for the repair was revealed in May by then Transport Minister Michael Wood. A $40 million bridge was selected as the fix, and although it was one of the quickest of the options put forward, it wasn't set to be completed until 2024, threatening yet another disrupted summer for businesses and locals.
We reached out to the government very early on and said, look, people are getting hammered. Our businesses are struggling. They've had 2 years of COVID. We know that over the period of this time we've dropped over $90 million in revenue. People need help, or some of them will not survive.
The government pumped $8 million in direct business support funding, as well as some additional recovery money. It was a lifeline, but didn't mean tough conversations weren't still being had.
I would be lying if I didn't say there was a lot of moments when I thought, when is this going to end? There were some cafes and other places that just did not make it across the line. So, and I felt, as someone who knows a lot of people in this area, who feels very passionate about this area, that was heartbreaking. That was their livelihoods.
Was there at any point that you thought this might just be too long for us to continue, or how did you navigate?
We did discuss it. In actual fact, we did get a broker in to give us a price to sell and move on, but we have decided that we'll get through this Christmas and reevaluate that situation next year.
Everybody realises the financial impact on this area. That's data that everyone will have access to. What I don't think people fully understand is, like the Gisborne area, is the toll on people's mental well-being. There's been a lot of people in this community that have either considered leaving this community or just are no longer wanting to build a future here, and that's really sad.
The community were hit with the reality of another taxing summer season, while work on the road began midway through the year. Those in charge faced with some of the most challenging conditions they'd ever worked on.
We didn't have time to kind of get it wrong. The amount of water that was coming out of this face when we first turned up, while we were ordering materials and getting on with fabricating steel beams, we were here focused on controlling the water and making the ground good enough for us to stand large cranes on, do all those kind of things. The ground here was the challenge. Yeah, it's remote and all those kind of things. We know how to deal with that, but this unique set of ground conditions here was definitely where our focus was.
A team of almost 100 worked around the clock at the site.
We've just thrown everything we needed to at this. If we've needed to work extended shifts 24/7, it's an easy throwaway comment to say we work 24/7 because you've got to manage fatigue and health and safety and all those kind of things. But yeah, there was the last 6 months. There's no time of the day or night you'd come up here and you wouldn't have seen people working. I'd say almost 2/3 of the time easily. Yeah, been a huge effort.
It was the worst kept secret in town because all of the workers had a revised date on the whiteboard, which was before Christmas. That couldn't be made official because if anything went wrong, we'd have a whole lot of disappointed people.
We're very good friends with people in Storm's contracting group, and we had quite a few of the Kainui truck drivers stay here at one stage, so inside information is always helpful. But we were thinking it would, at the earliest, would be the beginning of February.
The cafes where the workers go and get their coffees and their lunches, they all knew. They were telling me, oh no, it's going to be before Christmas. We just couldn't say anything officially.
An official opening date of December 20th was locked in. The bridge was delivered 3 months early and under budget. It was the miracle everyone had been praying for.
The road is back and business is going to be back, and so we wanted to have a little bit of a street party to welcome back the people, welcome back the visitors, especially welcome the new traffic over the road, and thank the road workers for getting it finished so fast. And so yeah, we're out here celebrating.
It's really about, this road is about reconnecting people, like reconnecting families and reconnecting people that have a love for Tairua but only have a batch here. And everybody's just feeling so buoyant now.
Punk if you're stoked that the road is open. Yeah, and most people, everyone's pretty much stoked. I think a lot of the truckies are really stoked. They're like, bop, 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 because they've had to, they've had to go the whole long way around. And imagine driving those massive trucks over there, it's crazy.
Who knew anyone could get so excited about a bridge? As I've said, it's a construction of concrete and steel. But it's what it represents for the people of our community.
We sort of only had, only fully booked to about the 6th of January. We're now pretty much fully booked till the end of January, and the bookings are just flying in. I'm going to need a bloody drink after this.
Yeah, you can celebrate with a wine or...
No. I'm a vodka girl.
Vodka girl, nice.
I mean, look, honestly, we are such a resilient bunch up here. We've had this disaster, we have dealt with COVID and cyclones and road collapses, and generally when you go out into the community now, everyone's upbeat, happy, relieved, and I'm just seeing a big lift in everyone that's communicating with us, so yay!